Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have Councilors Fennessy, Sweeney, Garfield, Herrick, and Dahlbeck come down, please? Do you second District Councilor Tom Fennessy, 4th District Councilor Jack Sweeney, 6th District Councilor Graham Garfield, 8th District Councilor Mike Herrick, and 10th District Councilor Esther Dahlbeck, having been elected to the position of City Councilor of the City of Superior at the April 7th spring election, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of your office to the best of your ability, so help you God. Congratulations. Raise your right hand. Do you, Bruce Hagen, having been elected to the position of the Mayor of the City of Superior at the April 7th spring election, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Councilor Garfield to the Common Council, and I'd also like to pay tribute to Councilor Terry Mazzolia on his departure from the council. On behalf of the City of Superior and the people of Superior, Terry, we want to offer you this kind plaque recognizing your service for the 6th District from April 16, 2003 to April 21, 2015, in appreciation for your hard work and dedication in your district and the committees you served on for the betterment of this community, specifically Parks and Recreation Committee, Plan Commission, Douglas County Historical Society, the Superior Douglas County Convention and Visitors Bureau, signed by myself and the members of the Common Council.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. I also want to thank you for your counsel and the many discussions we had on the issues and the matters before the city, and hearing me out and us hearing you out on the things that were important to you. I know recreation is a huge matter in your mind, and you contribute a lot of your time and dedication and service to the youth of this community. We thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bruce, and members of the City Council, also Linda and Terry, for putting up with me for the last 2 years. I mean, both of you ladies have been really helpful. Is this thing on? Okay. I'd also like to thank Bruce, who's been really open and receptive to some of my concerns. I'd also like to thank Mr. Sweeney. I got to know Jack pretty well over the last 2 years, and I hope he considers me a friend because I consider him a friend. I think we have something in common, which is sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I hope to see you again next fall for football and wintertime for basketball. Softball's going on right now. The girls are having a fantastic season in softball. The boys are doing really well in hardball, and hopefully the weather gets a little better. It was kind of windy out there, sand blowing around, but it's been a great year for Superior Sports, and hopefully it continues. I know the city has helped out, especially one of my pet projects, the Superior Basketball Association, with funding over the last several years. We had over 250 kids involved in the sport this year. So I really appreciate the council and the mayor and Mary Morgan for keeping sports alive in Superior and understanding the importance of it. I guess that's all I have to say. Again, it was a pleasure. My 2 years was kind of a rookie, but I did learn a lot, and I appreciate the chance to serve. Thank you very much.
Do the roll call. Counselor Olson. We're just doing roll call. Counselor Fennessy. Here. Counselor Bender. Here. Counselor Sweeney. Here. Counselor McDonald. Counselor Garfield. Here. Counselor Finsland. Here. Counselor Herrick. Here. Counselor Dennis Dahlbeck. Here. Counselor Esther Dahlbeck. Here. Counselor Counselor Kadat.
Recognizing a quorum, I'd like to welcome Counselor Garfield, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for your effort and your desire to serve.
Item 3.2 is selection of council president.
Nominate Tom Fennessy.
Second.
A motion and a second for the nomination of Tom Fennessy as president. Any further nominations? Hearing none, we'll call for nominations to be closed.
Second.
We have a motion on a nomination on the floor to nominate Tom Fennessy as council president. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Item 3.3 is selection of council vice president.
I'd like to nominate Denny Dahlbeck.
Second.
Heard a motion and a second for the nomination of Dennis Dahlbeck as vice president.
I would like to nominate Warren Bender.
Second.
Heard a motion and a second to nominate Warren Bender as vice president. Any further nominations?
Okay. At this, do you want to go through? What do you want me to? At this point, we would invite each candidate to address the council for 1 minute. And we can cut the cards if you can't decide who would like to speak first.
Go ahead, Councilor Bender. 1 minute.
It'll be less than 1 minute. Many of you know me. I've been on the council for 7 years. I'm very involved in the community. In fact, I believe I was at 4 meetings before this one today. I'm a very strong proponent of the City of Superior. I do have leadership experience. I was council president a couple years ago. And I would very much appreciate people's votes. Thank you.
Hi, Dennis Dahlbeck. I've been on the council, I believe this is going on my 9th year. I've been council vice president twice, council president twice. I'm also involved with the city credit union. I'm chairman of the board. I'm also chairman of the board of trustees at the Elks. I think my experience and knowledge of government and how it works, working with you, Mr. Mayor, and working with past mayor to get our terminal tax, well, that's about it.
Thank you.
Should we just do this by, would you like to do it by roll call vote? Okay. And you will need 6 votes to be elected. Councillor Olson.
Bender.
Councillor Fennessy.
Dahlbeck.
Councillor Bender.
Bender.
Councillor Sweeney.
Dahlbeck.
Councillor McDonald. Councillor Garfield.
Bender.
Councillor Finsland.
Dahlbeck.
Councillor Herrick. Councillor Dennis Dahlbeck. Councillor Esther Dahlbeck. 7-3 3 with Counselor Dennis Dahlbeck being elected Vice President.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Item number 4 is approval of the minutes from the April 8th regular council meeting.
For the motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion's carried.
Item number 6 is the consent agenda. Counselor Olson is requesting to separate item 6.18.5 for discussion.
Move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
For the motion and second to approve the consent agenda as amended, Counselor Dahlbeck.
I just like to comment on item 614. And I would ask that it's going to the Public Works concerning the bicycle accommodations on Belknap and the designing of Belknap. I would also ask that that committee look into Hammond Avenue issues. We're getting cars backed up, including myself. I was up on top of the bridge. For that committee to look at what they might be able to do to lessen the problems. I've got a lot of complaints from people about it. And if that committee could look at that also.
You fine with including that, Todd?
Yeah, I've already talked to Todd about it.
Okay, you have a motion and second on the floor to approve the consent agenda as amended, and also including the request by Counselor Dahlbeck to have the Public Works Committee review the traffic on Hammond Avenue. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Counselor Olson.
I'm just going to read it quick. Item 6.18 is the Human Resources Committee recommendations from April 20th. Number 5 is to approve the appeal process as it was proposed from Carlson Dittman, as they are an unbiased party.
Counselor?
You'll have to excuse me, my computer isn't working here. So I'm essentially going to wing this with some concerns that I have.
You want to see this?
No, I'm okay. I'm all right. At the last meeting, when we passed this wage study, the motion by myself and seconded by Bender was to amend the motion to approve pay plan A by removing step 1 of the wage steps and refer the appeal process to the Human Resources Committee for an alternate appeal process. And in the Human Resource meeting, I had asked if there was any presentation about the motion that was passed as to an alternate plan for the appeals process. And there was none. And when I looked at the Human Resources meeting minutes, and I don't have them in front of me, that it was just, there was no discussion listed in the minutes. There was, Terry, you'll have to help me with this, a deadline of June 15th somewhere. June 5th, which is a month away. But anyway, in this, trying to get this all taken care of, and we all know what process we went through with the wage study, I don't believe that we followed what the motion was and what the action of this council, which was passed with a 9-to-1 motion of getting an alternate study for the wage study. And Tom, I have to put you on the spot, but it said that Councilor Fennessy agreed with Councilor Olson's requested revision, stating the only way he would support an amendment to the appeals process if there was a neutral aspect to it. And I thank you for that and supporting the changes that we had made. I don't believe that Carlson Dittman was the neutral party in this. We also had asked that the mayor sit in on this committee, and if that's the neutral party, that's fine. But we never had an alternate appeal process that we asked for. I was told, and that's all it is, I was told, that it is the same exact appeals process that Carlson Dittman put forth originally. So in the meantime, we had a bunch of changes to the wage study as to, at one point in time, so many appeals were going to be free. And then if we came back to the table and we redid, the Carlson Detman didn't do what we had asked them, so we revisited that. And then the appeals process was going to change as to what their participation in it was. So at this point in time, I'm not sure how you can ask us to approve what the Human Resources Committee was when we changed everything in the middle of it. But then your appeal process is going back to the original appeal. So there was conversation from Detman that he was going to do this, going to do that, and now I don't have anything in front of me of what this is going to cost the city, how many appeals, if any, are going to be free anymore, and or, to be completely straightforward, there was no alternate process unless somebody can tell me different. And all the meeting minutes, and I didn't get a chance to, I wish I would have on my computer, but it just said that the motion was passed. There was 2 people at the Human Resources Committee, and it was passed. So I know that Mike and Bob were on that committee. Denise was gone, and so was Esther. But if somebody can explain why we're not moving forward with an alternate appeal process, I'd be fine with it. But if not, there's no way I can support this.
Councilor Esther Dahlbeck.
I can't support this Carlson Detman thing either. They're the reason why we are in this mess. It's like putting the fox in charge of the chicken coop. So no, I can't go along with it either.
Councilor Fennessy.
Just like to respond, and thank you for moving all this forward. I know when we discussed this on the council floor, I was the one that really wanted to make sure that the appeals process was a neutral process. I met with Cammie. We talked about some different alternatives. I could not make the meeting, the HRC committee, as much as I wanted to, but I did send my recommendation to the members and actually listed why I felt that was the best process. And I'm only one counselor. I think we're under a time frame to get an appeals process done. I think whether you like it or not, Carlson Detman holds a lot of the valuable information that I feel will give a very open, honest, and true data for the appeals process. The mayor is a part of that. The final, Carlson Detman only makes a recommendation of the appeals process. My understanding goes through. The mayor actually has the final say. So the mayor is part of that process. If we wanted to try to, and my original thought process was try to get a neutral working committee, maybe from citizens or some other HR experts within the city. After thinking about that and after discussing it, I don't think that we would be able to do that in a timely fashion, and I think we owe it to the staff that are going through this process to have a very diligent and very neutral and straightforward process. And after looking at all the information again from Carlson Detman, I truly feel that is the best alternative that I could come up with. So that's my viewpoint on it. But I wasn't necessarily advocating for a definite alternative. I think what we want to do is look at, is there an alternative? But I want to really make sure that it was a neutral, unbiased process to give us the best bang for our buck and protect the taxpayers, protect the staff, and make it easier on everybody as we go through this thing.
Councilor Finsland.
Yeah, the appeals process isn't a grievance procedure. I think that's what's getting confused here. The appeals would be only if there's been an error in specifying the position or if the employee's job is changed and it includes more things. To make it that was the basis of this appeals process, was to, if you thought your classification was incorrect, you should say so now so we can straighten this matter out, or if your job changes significantly. And if it hasn't, then what would be the basis for the appeals? A grievance procedure is quite different. If you have an issue to take up, I think that's what's getting confused here. It's not meant to be the grievance procedure. It's meant to be an appeal whether your classification was correct or not.
Counselor Garfield.
Right, and thank you. I know that I'm coming into this process a little bit late, but in having reviewed the last meeting minutes and the documents, my concern is with the wording that we would be approving the appeals process proposed by Carlson Detman on the basis that they're an unbiased party. It doesn't matter if they're unbiased or not. What matters is whether or not this is going to work for city employees. And if if the category that you're placed in and your wages significantly change, then it's going to be very important to that individual that they do get an unbiased process in reviewing that. And so I think that this should be referred back to committee again, and that they should actually build an alternative for us to look at side by side with what Carlson Detman has proposed, so that we might actually vote on an alternative, or whether we want to take Carlson Detman's in the end. I'm disappointed with this outcome.
Counselor Olson.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second for referral. Counselor Sweeney.
You all know my position on this, but has anybody checked with other counties, cities, government entities where Detman has done this type of work? Has he been fair? Has he been consistent? And I don't know what the answer is, but it seemed to me that would be one step that we either should have done or should do.
A motion for refer is not open for debate. So we'll move to the motion and call for the roll.
Would you like a roll call vote on this? I believe we start with Counselor Finsland at this point. The motion on the floor is to refer back to HRC to build an alternative appeal process along with the Carlson Detman process.
No.
Counselor Finsland, no. Counselor Herrick.
Yeah, although I voted yes, during committee, I think it's always good to, if there's enough call for it, to go back to committee, so. Yes.
Counselor Dennis Dahlbeck.
No.
Counselor Esther Dahlbeck.
Yes.
Counselor Olson.
Yes.
Counselor Fennessy.
No.
Counselor Bender.
Yes.
Counselor Sweeney.
No.
Counselor McDonald.
No.
Counselor Garfield.
Yes.
It's a 5-5 tie. Motion fails.
I vote no.
Okay, the motion fails. Is there another motion on this item, or? 'Cause that
Make a motion to approve the appeals process as listed in the minutes.
Second.
Okay, the motion is to approve the recommendation from HRC. Counselor Herrick. No. Counselor Dahlbeck. Dennis Dahlbeck.
You want to repeat the motion?
The motion on the floor now is to approve the appeals process as recommended by the Human Resources Committee. Yes? Counselor Esther Dahlbeck.
No.
Counselor Olson.
No.
Counselor Fennessy.
Yes.
Counselor Bender.
No.
Counselor Sweeney.
Yes.
Counselor McDonald.
Yes.
Counselor Garfield.
No.
Counselor Finsland.
Yes.
We have a 5-5 tie. I'm sorry.
I vote yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Okay, we're on to item 7, businesses by department head. Item 7.1, Finance Director Vito is submitting the following 2015 budgets for approval. Jean, do you want these separated?
Whatever the pleasure is of the council. I don't know if there's separate questions. Might as well, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. We have information services, library, wastewater utility, and stormwater utility 2015 budgets.
I'll make a motion to approve all those budgets as presented to the council.
Second.
For the motion and second to approve all as presented, any discussion? If all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Director of Parks and Recreation and Forestry, Director Morgan, is introducing Caitlin Bauman, Leadership Superior Douglas County, PowerPoint presentation regarding creating a children's memorial garden.
Director Morgan?
Councilors, this evening we have among us one of the Leadership Superior Douglas County teams, and they have a proposal to make for you which has been recommended by the Park and Rec Commission. So, Caitlin, if you want to bring your group up, great, excellent, thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Caitlin Bauman. I'm the Academic Service Learning Specialist over at UW Superior.
My name is Carrie Brightlow, and I actually work for the Douglas County Department of Health and Human Services. And then we also have another group member who couldn't be here this evening with us. His name is Mike Johnston, and he works with Enbridge.
My name is Stacy Minter, and I work at the Douglas County Jail.
So thank you so much for having us this evening. In case you're unfamiliar, Leadership Superior Douglas County is an annual program for approximately 25 to 30 emerging and existing leaders who really want to be more involved with their community. Participants represent a cross-section of urban and rural communities throughout Douglas County and have very diverse backgrounds and interests. At the completion of each annual Leadership Superior Douglas County project, we do final group projects. And our group's project is we're proposing a children's memorial garden for Superior Douglas County. We really want to do this because we want to build a garden of hope and healing for families and friends that have experienced the very tragic loss of a child. I had proposed this idea to our group because my hometown of Virginia, Minnesota has a similar garden, and I've seen from families and friends that have lost a child the very powerful aspects a memorial garden can have for these families, where they can have a place to go and reflect on the life of their child. So we're proposing a similar garden for Superior Douglas County. We hope that by having this very quiet place to reflect, families and friends can form new relationships by bonding together with other families that have suffered a similar tragedy. Our proposed children's memorial garden will celebrate the lives of these very beautiful children, honor the love of their family and friends, and really establish a very peaceful sanctuary for everyone. In our investigation of working on this project this past year, we've really gotten some very wonderful community support. We created a Facebook page just to kind of start getting some of that community feedback a couple weeks ago, and we have over 464 likes. If you're familiar with Facebook, to get 464 likes in about 2 months is fantastic. We've gotten some really wonderful suggestions from the community, from parents and families that have lost a child, and we've taken those considerations in as we do this planning process.
So our very first thing that we were looking at is where would this be located? We have a lot of great area here in the Superior Douglas County area. And what we really thought of first was the Billings Park area. And our initial thought was First Point, which many of you are familiar with, kind of where the gazebos are, where the playgrounds are, really the area that families and people use most. That was kind of what we were originally thinking. We did go to the Parks and Recs committee and got some great feedback about Second Point, or Girl Scout Point, which is located directly next to First Point, kind of where our red circle is there. It's a little bit more serene. It's still very accessible. For us, it was important that there's a path leading out there, so those who are in need of special devices to assist with mobility can still reach it. It's a little bit quieter, a beautiful area. So we actually went out. Councilor Herrick took it out there to kind of take a look at it. Fell in love with the area, thought it was really appropriate for where we were looking at. I'll just pass the pictures on there. So this is actually the actual pictures of the area that we're looking at. It's right to the left of the path. A really nice open area, a nice backdrop that we'd be looking to put the garden in.
I'm actually going to go to the next screen, if that's okay. Okay. This is it's a very rough draft that you can see. The big circle down in the corner would be a tree. We would like to do a big tree in the middle with a bench and possibly 2 raised flower beds at this point. That's our phase 1. We would also like to include a plaque stating what the purpose of that is. Maybe some of our partners, people who have partnered with us on that. But that's just phase 1, which we would like to complete sometime this summer. We also have plans for a phase 2, which would include like a stone pathway with engraved pavers that families can buy in honoring a specific child or a specific family. We've also been talking with the Superior Arts Council for possibly a statue of some kind at some point.
So we've done a lot of research about memorial gardens and the powers they can have for a family and friends that have suffered this extremely tragic loss. While I was doing a lot of this research, I came across this one very powerful quote that I just want to share with you all. In planting a garden or in planting a tree or a garden, you're giving the gift of life back to the earth. This can be the most honorable and appropriate gift of remembrance. A vibrant, beautiful tree benefits everyone, now and for future generations to come. For this reason, a tree provides a wonderful symbol of the continuance of life while benefiting the earth. So like I said, we've done a lot of extensive research into memorial gardens. By no means have we solidified what exact types of flowers we would like to have in this garden. These are just some examples of plants we'd potentially like to see. We are working with outside gardeners to make sure the plants that we do plant would obviously survive and thrive and not get eaten by animals and fit with our hardiness zone here in Superior Douglas County. Each of these plants up on the slide have a very specific meaning behind them. Just for a couple examples, poppies represent rest or eternal sleep. Rosemary represents remembrance. Lily of the Valley represents return of happiness. So each of the plants that we would put in the Children's Memorial Garden would have a very strategic purpose. We want them to really represent the children that have been tragically lost for these families and friends and really show these families that they have a very beautiful place to come and reflect on their child. These would be the 2 trees we'd proposed thus far. We've looked into the ginkgo tree, which is the classic memory tree when you're looking into memorial gardens, or a Japanese red maple, because it is a very striking tree. It would really have that striking accent over the garden. Next is just our budget. We've done, like I said, a lot of research. This is just based on our knowledge. We are not very experienced gardeners. We've done some research. We've been networking with master gardeners and other gardening entities in the community. So this is just what we've got so far. By no means is this the set budget, which we'd be looking when we'd be doing our outside fundraising. We'll be looking for about $100 for a tree, either the ginkgo or the Japanese red maple. We're really looking for either the bench or the swing for about $900. Then the soil, of course, for the gardens. Some wood for the 2 raised garden beds for $500. The plants, we want to do a lot of perennial gardens, perennial plants for about $450, because one of our biggest concerns when we were designing this garden is obviously the future sustainability and maintenance of the gardens, because we really want to make sure that when we build this garden for these families and these friends, that we can ensure the future sustainability of these gardens so they know that it's not going to become decrepit in the future years. In addition, we'd like to have a plaque at the garden that obviously says the name of the garden, which officially we have not named quite yet. In addition, we'd like a sign at the path's entrance. If you can remember back to that map a couple slides ago, it's kind of a lovely jaunt at the beginning of Second Point there, out to where we propose the garden to be. So we'd like a sign at the beginning of Second Point that just says something to the effect of Children's Memorial Garden this way, or something like that. This, like I said, this this budget is just really based on our knowledge and kind of the research we've done. We're meeting with master gardeners in a couple weeks, and we'll start to really reach out to other greenhouses and other entities to really make sure we can solidify our budget before we do start our outside fundraising. We have several very distinct funding ideas for what our project, how we'll be funding this project. We haven't started any of these yet because we wanted to make sure to ensure, obviously, final approval from you all as the City Council and the Mayor, so then we could ensure these families that we had the capabilities to build the garden for the county and the city here. We will be setting up a private GoFundMe account if and when you all approve of this project to kind of get some of those private donations in. We'll also be looking for a lot of business, nonprofit, and service club sponsorships to help with a lot of those in-kind donations. It could be with labor when we actually do the final dedication. It could be with the soil, a lot of those things that we'll actually need for the future sustainability and maintenance of the garden. We'll be holding all of the funds that we raise in a separate account through one of our sponsors. We'll be talking about that in just a second. But one of our sponsors is the Superior Area Council Parent-Teacher Association. They've agreed to be one of our sponsors of the project, so they will be setting up a private bank account through their nonprofit organization, so that'll hold our funds. So the funds we raise for the garden, for the future sustainability and maintenance of the garden, will be going to the garden and to keep this garden going for these families and these friends.
So Caitlin briefly touched on the future maintenance and sustainability. This was a major concern of ours because of the very emotional type of garden that it is. It's amazing on our Facebook page, the messages that we get from the family members about how important that they feel this would be, and that's something that we don't take lightly. So what we're looking at is our partnering organizations right now. Caitlin mentioned the PTA. We are also going to be working very closely with Miss Greenhouse and Landscape. They're extremely interested in our idea and backing us. And just very recently had some extreme interest actually from a local motorcycle club who is really interested in helping us out. So we really kind of run the gamut, which is really, really great. We actually meet next week, Monday, with the Master Gardeners to solidify exactly what those roles are going to be. So we're excited to meet with them. We also kind of looking into things of creation, the Friends of the Superior Douglas County Garden. So those are all things we're looking into. Again, just waiting for the approval, so we're not putting the cart before the horse.
What's next? We would love approval from you guys, but we're continuing to get ideas from our Facebook page, from our friends and our family. We need to finalize our budget. We haven't done any of that yet. Guess today will answer a lot of questions for us. We hope for your support. We would like to invite you, if this does go through, to our groundbreaking, our planting, anything that you would like to be a part of. So thank you in advance.
Questions from council? President Fennessy.
Well, first of all, I want to commend you and applaud you for this effort, but I'm going to put my facilities maintenance hat on and really commend you for thinking long-term on the maintenance and budgetary, because so often we forget about those, and then where does it fall? It falls on somebody like Mary's department. So thank you. So I really commend you for that.
Councilor Bender.
Yes, I wanted to also thank you and congratulate all three of you. I was at your graduation today, and I was not able to make it when everybody did their presentation about their projects for the year, but this is a great project, and I think you've already done a whole heck of a lot of the groundwork, especially when thinking of funding sources. And with how popular GoFundMe is now, you might start that, and you might get $3,000 the first day. Now, I happen to be involved with a service organization, and I know somebody who would be willing to be the sponsor for that. So if you guys want to talk, to me afterwards, I'll give you the information on that, and I would be glad to help with that. It's a very well thought out project. Again, I want to commend you on that, and I know we're very fortunate to have the master gardeners that we have in the city of Superior. And I know a couple of them, and I think they would be very much involved in this and want to help. So I applaud you for what you've done, and I think it's a great idea. And I will make a motion to accept, or I guess that would be the motion that I would make, would be to accept. But I believe some other counselors have a question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, and this is a great project you're working on. And I think one of the points that you brought up at the Parks and Rec meeting is that it doesn't matter how old your child is when you lose them. It's a good place to come out there and reflect. So thank you for this project.
And I think that's something we should have, to add was we have no age. There is no limitation on when someone loses a child, whether they're 6 or 60. So we would not be looking at a child as a juvenile, as a, under 18. This is absolutely anybody who's lost a child, regardless of age.
Thank you for this presentation. I was struck by the passion of all three of you. And so when you have passion, it will work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to I appreciate your efforts also in the dedication and deep, heartfelt project that you've instilled in the people here. It's very kind and very thoughtful of you. I just want to say that you've answered one question I had about the age. Some years I lived in southern Wisconsin and the village of Oregon, just be specific, and I actually used to walk through the cemetery just to reflect. But that isn't the point. The point is there was a children's cemetery there, an actual children's cemetery, and that really is emotional. So I think it's very proper, appropriate, and I certainly would, and know we will endorse you. So, is there a second for the motion?
I'll second.
You've heard the motion and second. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great presentation.
Item 7.3, Director of Parks and Recreation and Forestry Director Morgan is submitting a request from Steve LaValle for permits to place devices to help study mercury uptake in aquatic organisms from sediment in the harbor.
For the motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Planning and Port Director Cirque is submitting a request from Brad Jacobson, 1114 North 12th Street, to put up for bid a parcel of land located at 1116 North 12th Street. No objections have been received, and he is recommending to put the property up for sale with a minimum bid of $750.
Second.
For the motion and second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Acting Public Works Director Janico is recommending to extend the contract for monitor well sampling and reporting to SEH Inc. through 2015 for $35,300.
For the motion and second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Janico is also recommending to award the city's 2015 asphalt milling contract to WK Construction for the estimated cost amount of $50,952.63.
For the motion and multiple seconds, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Janico is also recommending to award the city's 2015 blacktop asphalt proposals.
For the motion and second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Janico is recommending to award the pavement marking services to Farner Asphalt Ceiling for $31,421.60 and possible addition of up to $4,700 for the turn arrow only marking and railroad crossing marking.
Councillor Herrick.
Yeah, just a question. As far as this happening, is this going to be in the fall again? Since I know we had talked in committee about possibly a Duluth company maybe coming over to do this.
Yeah, we talked to them, and I think it was a little bit bigger than they wanted to get into right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Linda, do we have a August 15th August 15th completion date on it, so it'll be done in the summer. It won't wait till fall.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Dahlbeck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Todd, I was wondering, I had a couple of calls, I should have talked to you earlier, but the railroad crossing on 28th Street, evidently there was some car had went off and it's damaged, and I've had a number of complaints. Are we responsible, or is that the railroad's responsibility?
For the crossing itself?
Right.
The crossing itself, it's exact dimensions, I don't remember. Within a couple of feet of the rail is the responsibility of the railroad.
Okay.
And we have a liaison at the Wisconsin DOT. It used to be that we could communicate right with the railroad, but I don't think they like us that much anymore, so we use the DOT.
Okay.
And then it goes through a process, but
Yeah, because I've had
we
a
can
couple
certainly.
of people said they've damaged their cars and felt the city's responsible, and I didn't know the answer to that, so.
Give me the information and I'll make contact with the railroad
Okay,
as soon as
sounds good.
possible.
I'll get a hold of you tomorrow. Thank you.
I want to thank you, Todd, for getting this out this early. I haven't seen it out on the street, if you will, this early since I've been here.
Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
She's been a big help.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 7.9, Janico is also recommending to award televising services for 13.4 miles of sanitary sewer to Northern Pipe Equipment, Inc. for $34,707.80.
Heard the motion in multiple seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
8.1, Mayor Hagan is recommending to reappoint William Fennessy to the Superior Housing Authority Board of Commissioners.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Business by councilors. Councilor Bender?
Yes, thank you. I just have a couple brief words to say. As you know, as many of you know, I am a Spanish teacher, and there's a lot of misinformation about Cinco de Mayo. And first of all, it happens to be Bob Finsland's birthday and also Mike Herrick's father's birthday. But many people say, oh, it's Mexican Independence Day. No, that's September 16th. So I just have two short lines that I'm going to read about this. Originating in the 1860s with the Mexican-American communities in the American West and Southwest. The American Cinco de Mayo, which is much more popular here than it is in Mexico, the American Cinco de Mayo began as a way to communicate or commemorate the cause of freedom and democracy during the first years of the American Civil War. Cinco de Mayo is Spanish for May 5th, or 5th of May. It's a commemoration of the Battle of Puebla, during the French invasion of Mexico in the 1860s. The Battle of Puebla, which took place May 5th, that's why it's called Cinco de Mayo, in 1862, saw a much smaller Mexican army defeat a much larger French army in the battle. The Mexicans won the battle, but they lost the war. Thank you for allowing me to say that. And notice my hat says Mexico on it.
Councilor Olson.
I just got some American stuff here. I want to. I sincerely want to thank everybody from the city, the Superior Federation of Labor, and the United Way for the Workers' Memorial that was held last week. Mayor, you and I were both out of town, but for everybody that was a part of that, first nice day we had, and I'm out of town. So, but anyway, it's a great effort, Mary. Thank you and your staff, and Ronnie, and I'll forget somebody, but thank you for everybody. Close to 80 people outside at the event, and over 50 were served with the breakfast that we have. So, just want to pass that along. Thank you all very much.
And just to follow up on that, as I saw Shelley the other day, and I said, I'm going to write a thank you, and I'm going to make sure that I name everybody's name in it, and it's still in my head, but I will get that in the newspaper. But again, it was a great event and very well attended. We were very fortunate to have the third grade class from Northern Lights Elementary help with the planting.
Thank you.
Item 10.1, a resolution introduced by the Department of Planning and Development, setting a public hearing June 2nd to amend the zoning code by rezoning properties in the vicinity of 45th and 49th Avenues East between East Itasca and Michigan Streets to R2 two-family residential district.
Heard the motion and second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Item 10.2 is a resolution introduced by the Department of Planning and Development, setting a public hearing June 2nd to amend the zoning code by rezoning lots in the vicinity of 19th Avenue East and East 13th Street to R1B, one family residential district.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor? Opposed, motion carried.
10.3 is a resolution introduced by the Planning Commission, setting a public hearing June 16th to vacate a portion of North 29th Street beginning at Tower Avenue westerly for 160 feet.
You've heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
10.4 is a resolution introduced by the Plan Commission, setting a public hearing June 16th to vacate all remaining publicly platted streets and alleyways in the quadrant of land located southerly of Winter Street, westerly of Elm Avenue, and northeasterly of the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way.
Heard the motion and second to approve. Seeing no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion's carried.
10.5 is a resolution introduced by the Plan Commission, setting a public hearing June 16th to vacate a portion of East 11th Street beginning at 15th Avenue East, southeasterly for 200 feet.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Item 10.6 is a resolution introduced by the Department of Parks and Recreation of the City of Superior supporting the proclamation of International Migratory Bird Day as May 9th, 2015.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Item 10.7, a resolution of the City of Superior approving the report of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Superior regarding the development agreement with Stormworks Corporation and Mill Technic LLC.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the motion is carried.
11.1 is an ordinance introduced by the City Attorney amending the Traffic Code, Article 6, Vehicles for Hire, Taxi Cab, Animal Drawn Vehicles, City Operators License Required.
Heard the motion in multiple seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Ordinance introduced by the Public Works Committee repealing and recreating City Code Chapter 14, Public Water Utility, Sections 114 through 162, 114-162 through 114-174.
Heard the motion and second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
11.3, an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Committee repealing and recreating Chapter 14 Utilities, Section 114-180 through 114-187.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor? Opposed, the motion is carried.
11.4, an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Committee amending the traffic code, one- and two-way stops by adding Billings Drive, the following stop at North 21st Street.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried.
11.5 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Committee amending the traffic code, two-way stops by deleting Wyoming Avenue and North 19th Street and adding four-way stops at Wyoming Avenue and North 19th Street.
You've heard the motion and second. All in favor? Opposed, the motion is carried.
11.6 is an ordinance introduced by the City Attorney amending City Code Chapter 2, Administration, Section 2.32, Call to Order.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor? Opposed? Any further business to come before this body? You've heard the motion and second. All in favor? We stand adjourned.